Both here in the United States and in Israel, the top leaders in government are facing criminal investigations at the highest levels. The similarities are striking. Both are facing critical media coverage and call the probes against them a politically motivated witch hunt.
An unprecedented witch hunt which has one aim: to topple the right-wing government that I lead.
Netanyahu and his Likud party are outraged by Israel's attorney general, who announced he will indict the premier with elections about a month away. Sort of like former FBI Director James Comey reopening an investigation into Hillary Clinton's emails in the final days of the 2016 presidential race. Unlike in the American political system, where voters face two main choices, Republicans versus Democrats, Israeli voters this April can choose from 45 parties. Most of them won't pass the threshold to make it into parliament, and that dramatically narrows down the field. Now, don't feel bad if you find that very confusing, because it's just as confusing to people in Israel.
Benny Gantz is new, so you really can't tell with him. But the moment you enter the river, you have to go with the flow.
Benny Gantz sounds to be better suited for the job, simply because I don't know him. All the rest have already made mistakes.
So, a bunch of politicians make up the parties, and then a bunch of parties eventually form two major blocs. And then it's just like here in the U.S., right wing and left wing. But here's where it gets confusing again. Israel's left and right are certainly split over security concerns, but differences over economic policy are nothing like here in the U.S. In Israel, you'll find figures who back workers' unions and fight to regulate big businesses on both sides of the political spectrum. Not so in the U.S., where the economic debate often concentrates around capitalism versus socialism. Israel barely has what Americans would call libertarians or staunch capitalists, and speaking against the welfare state would put off a lot of Israeli voters. Crossing party lines is rare in American politics, even looked down upon. In the U.S., there have only been 9 congressional party defections since 2000. That's out of hundreds of representatives over 19 years. In Israel, take Tzipi Livni, for instance, who started her political career on the right, running with the Likud party. Then she became a centrist and eventually moved to the left. And now, Livni is not even running. But just like Paul Ryan, Israelis still believe she'll make a comeback into politics one day. And we'll finish with one thing that's certainly less complicated in Israel than here in the United States, and that's counting the votes. Well, a population of around 8 million people makes it much easier, but Israel's voter turnout is one of the top 10 among OECD countries, with 72% of eligible voters voting in the last elections, compared to around 55% in the United States. And that's all for now.